Hello.
How's it going, brother? Great to speak to you, man.
Everything is good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Like I see that there's like 4,000 people in here. I'm like, holy smokes, like there's a lot of people watching this. But I've been watching you for kind of a long time, like reacting to kind of a lot of your videos. And yeah, man, I have a couple questions. I really like the
Yes.
work that you do. You've kind of like opened my mind and kind of like a lot of things. And right now I'm kind of at the point where I don't know if religion is necessarily like it for me, but on like a religion standpoint, Islam makes the
Mhm.
most sense to me right now. That's kind of where I am.
So yes, I've come across
Does that
because
make
people.
sense?
Yes, it does absolutely. The reason I've come across your content is because people sent it to me. Like Rami, he reached out about you, and then
Yeah.
like some people send me a content of you, maybe with your dear mother as well. Perhaps you watch a video or something like that. So people were sending me. Of course, I was traveling that time, but people did send me. Quite a few people did send me. Some people even emailed me about it. So I did come across that. And anyways, because I know Sony as well, and I've seen him mention you one time, perhaps with all of this like drama that the conservatives were trying to make, like about you looking into Islam or something like that on Twitter. So I try to keep like just a foot, in the door where I can see what's going on a little bit. I'm not gonna say I watch everything, but I see at least. I need to know what's going on, so I keep an eye on what's going on. I'm glad that you say that Islam is the closest thing to you right now. That's great to hear. So what would be the thing then that is preventing you from taking a step of accepting Islam? Because I'm sure you've seen like quite a few bit of content about Islam in the recent days.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of just like, I'm not sure if like religion is like man-made or not, because I've had times before. I used to be really into like meditation, like spirituality, get my son, meditate. And I had a couple experiences where I was meditating. I was like really into the law of attraction, and I felt like my soul kind of like, I don't know, I just felt really close to myself. And in a sense, that almost like felt like I was close to God. Like in spirituality, they say it's like connecting with your higher self in a sense. It's like the version of you that's up there with God. And I don't know, right now I'm just kind of like, because I've talked to people, I don't know if you know guy, but he told me religion is like kind of like a thing that is made to take people's attention away from like the true powers that they have themselves and kind of like focus on something that's man-made. So I don't know what you make of all that, or if you even know who like is. He's like a numerologist.
No, there's something that happened. I'm not going to go into it much. I'm going to ask you just one question. What race again is that guy? Can you just remind me again?
He's Jewish, I believe. He's Jewish.
Okay, thank you. Just that's the only thing I wanted to point out. Now, when it comes to this ridiculous claim, first about whether it is a crazy claim, which numbers have any influence, which we consider, by the way, polytheism, because the only one that has ability to make an effect on creation is God. Okay. Now, we don't attribute power and influence to abstract creation of God. So I don't say, for example, because I'm born in this specific number, I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. Now I'm associating with God, which is something that is in the power of God. I took it from God and give that influence to a creation. Now that is not different from giving it to a human being. It's the same thing. But the difference now, I'm giving it to a different creation, which is numbers or anything else. It's still a creation of God. So if I say you, Tyson, is the reason I'm rich, for example, instead of saying the number 77 is the reason I'm rich, it is because of Ty. You see, both of you are creation of God. It's the same idea. I attributed the influence and provision and greatness that God has given me to something other than God. And that's why it's polytheism. Now, when someone tells you, oh, religion is man-made or religion is not man-made, this is very ridiculous claim that many people have made throughout history. Our response is very simple. Why? I'll give first a very basic question. Why would a religion be man-made and be restricting everything that the man wants? So if Islam is a man-made religion, why would Islam teach us do not have fornication? You can only do that through marriage. Do not watch pornography or any of these things. Do not steal, do not kill, do not do any of these, anything. Do not do usury and interest, which is in your benefit. Do not gamble, do not drink alcohol, do not. Why would it be doing that? If it's made by a man, it will only reflect the desires of men. It will only reflect what men want. It will only reflect the worldly. It will not be restraining the worldly desires that we have. It will be enforcing. It's not going to tell you, bro, look, you got to fast a full month in the year, Not eat, not drink, not curse, not do anything. Oh, that money that you have that is dear to you, that you made, oh, you gotta have to give every year as a charity that is obligatory upon you. You have no choice. You have to give it to the poor. Yes, you did work for it and do all of that, but no, wait, no. You're gonna have to give to the poor. Now, the last thing a religion that is man-made would reflect is restricting the desires of man and making things difficult for a human being from a worldly perspective. Okay? Now, on top of that, we'll just say, if you claim a religion is man-made, then you have to investigate the religion. You cannot say religions are man-made, because you have many religions, some of which are man-made, which is a fact, and some of which you have to tell us and give us reasons rationally why it is man-made. If I say, for example, all yellow people, let's just say yellow people, so we don't say one race. All yellow people are racist. Say, okay, where is the evidence that these people are racist? Where is the proof that they are? You have to give rational reasons. If I said, you know what, I've come across this man who is yellow, who is racist, that's not enough for you to generalize. That's called the fallacy of generalization. For you to say all religions are man-made and offer zero logical justification, it's just mumbling that we're not really interested in. So that's what I would say. I would say, okay, you claim, for example, Islam or any religion is man-made. Go ahead and present reasons. I've already given you reasons why it definitely cannot be, because it goes against man's desires and all of that. But you go ahead and present the evidences why religion could be man-made.
Right. I guess the other argument would be like the higher ups in society don't want you like realizing the true power that you have within. Like, do you believe that like each individual person could kind of like create their own reality in a sense? Because me personally, I've had times where I've been like really into, the law of attraction. Not to say I'm really that much into it anymore, but I've had times where I really set my mind on like a goal and I really kind of like use my own power to achieve it in a sense. Like, do you believe that like humans like have their own power within them? Or do you believe that like without God, without a higher power, like humans are kind of like nothing in a sense?
We don't say humans are nothing. That's one extreme. And we don't say humans can fulfill whatever, create the reality. That's another extreme. The one that creates reality is the creator. The one that created the world, created me, created you. And the one who is giving you ability, is giving you power, gives you provision, takes away from you, gives you life and takes it from you as a creator. Now, you cannot create your own reality, but you can take the means to acquire something. So that is the middle ground that Muslims are in. Allah in the Quran, for instance, he says he's the one who provides. But in the same time, he tells you to go and walk in the earth and work and make money. Okay? Yeah. So he doesn't tell you sit down and wait for money to come to you. So there's a combination there. The way Allah will provide you is through the means that you take. And the more means you take, working, being intelligent, trying to do different things, is through these means, Allah will increase you in the provision that he gives it to you. So you don't get the money because of the means, you get it because of God. But the means is a reason for you to achieve that in the end. Because someone can do the means and in the end not achieve what they want. Because God did not give them that thing. So you cannot create your own reality. I'll tell you a very funny thing. I remember when I was younger, way younger, I watched this guy on TV. They brought, and he was someone who's a gambler. You know these stickers that they bring and they scratch to see who's the winner, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He was doing these things. And they brought him because he's been 25 years scratching stickers and he never won a single time. He spent all his money for 25 years trying to create his reality by winning. I'm a winner. Imagine 25 years he's spending money. He's become homeless. 25 years he's scratching stickers and he never won.
Yeah.
So I would say if you create your reality, a man who spent 25 years believing he's going to win, because I wouldn't have that patience. I'm not going to lie to you. 25 years, I'm not going to scratch his stickers, So, and still he is not one. So you can take the means, you can do everything. There are many people who are failures throughout human history who did believe in reality to the extent that they spent all their money on a project. They did everything, but still the project didn't work. Because you don't create your reality and you don't give success to yourself. The one who gives you success is God. So you can take the means and God can give you success and provision, or you can become a failure even though you took the means because you don't create your reality.
Right. Or maybe like God had like a different purpose for your life, I guess you're saying, than like the one that you want.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. Sometimes what we want is not that which is good for us. As Allah says in the Quran, that you may want something or you love something and it's bad for you, and you may hate something and it's good for you. And Allah knows and you do not know. And that's why if you were creating your reality, you would probably create your destruction most of the time than you would create your happiness, because humans are driven by their own selfish desires. Yeah. So do you still have an issue with this idea of religion as man-made and all of this stuff, or do you agree that this is like a funny claim?
No, you're definitely making a lot more sense with it. What about the argument though that like the higher ups in society want to like make this whole thing to like control society? Like I know it's kind of getting conspiracy theory, and again, I'm not even saying I fully believe it, but it's just kind of like it's kind of like a what if for me. Like what if it is created just for people to like distract their attention from like maybe the powers that they themselves hold. But now like as I continue, like even just me saying that, it just kind of sounds like more of a stupid argument after like you've kind of debunked it a little. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So you already, I think you gave the answer to yourself already. Because the thing is, who is easier to control? A man who's 24/7 on OnlyFans and OF and all of these stuff and spending his money gambling and drinking and drugs, or a man who's disciplined, who puts God first and his family and helps others? Which one is easier to be controlled and is controlled?
Well, the first one, because he's
in
already
reality,
controlled.
The one who's trying to control you is the one who tells you do not follow the commands of God, because then he wants you to follow your desire, and through that he can easily control you because you're easily susceptible to desires. So he just offers you desires, and then you are in the palm of their hand.
Right. And I guess my also thing. Well, one question I want to have before I ask the other question is: in Islam, do you guys believe in old souls? Because my entire life, I've like met random strangers, people in the comment section on my videos. They'd be like, Tyson, you're like an old soul, like you've been here before. And another thing that makes sense about numerology is like they have certain numbers, which means that you're an old soul. I see you laughing because it is kind of like it is a stretch, but they have certain numbers that means like you're an old soul. And people always call me an old soul. And then I realized that like the number that I have, 33 in numerology, is like the oldest soul that you could have. Like, what does Islam believe about that?
Sure. Let me ask you a question. If I say you have an old soul, is that a positive or a negative thing? Seems like a positive thing, right?
Yeah, it'd be positive because it means that you've been around the earth and like you're more mature, I guess, in a sense, and like you've been here before, you've lived like past lifetimes, kind of.
Yes, and this is the thing with all of these astrology, numerology, all of these things. They tell you positive things because you are more inclined to accept them and believe them. Even when they want to tell you something negative, they tell you something which is positive in reality. Oh, you're too nice that you give everyone too much stuff, you know? So they want to tell you something that is negative about you. You're too nice that you don't say no too much to people. Okay, but they're still telling you something positive, but they are wrapping it as pretending as if it's actually negative, not positive. So you're way more inclined to believe it because humans have this egotistical nature that, oh, they're happy to hear anything good, beautiful, positive that is said about them. So in Islam, this is the first time we are on earth for sure. So we were not on earth before. There's no reincarnation or anything like that. But there is something called, there's a world that we were in, that Allah created us in before he put us in this life. Where Allah created all the souls of humans, and Allah said to them to testify that Allah is our God. And that's why everyone has an innate belief, as many studies have already shown, like Justin Barrett in Oxford University, Oliver Petrovich, many studies, which showed that humans are innately born believing in a creator. So we believe before we came into this life, Allah created the souls of humans, and he made them testify that Allah is our Lord. Now, there's an interesting narration the Prophet Muhammad told us. The souls that have met or known each other in that time, they will have harmony in this life. And the ones that didn't, they will have a form of repellent towards one another. So you can feel this closeness of souls between you and someone else, because in that world, before you came to this life, there was a form of knowing you knew that's the other soul.
Okay.
So the Prophet said, "Ma ta'arafa minha talaf." Whoever known one another at that time, they have ulfa, they have this kind of acceptance, familiarity with one another, easy going with each other, etc. And the ones that didn't, ikhtalaf, they disagree. They're more in disagreement with one another. So that would respond to that, but will give you a realistic thing, not that number 33 and number 44. Okay.
Right. So what was that called? Like the kind of past life which we were all in. I'm not sure if you said it or if I forgot, but that kind of is interesting because with certain people, there's certain people that like kind of in my life that I feel like maybe in a past life, like we used to be like friends or something, or I knew them. and then I kind of feel like drawn closer to them. But maybe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that past existence or world, it's not that we live the entire life there or anything like that, but just Allah created us, and all of the souls of humanity were there at that time, and then they came into this life. So that is, you can call it, some scholars refer to as alam al-dhar, because people were very small at that time. Dhar can refer to something, the smallest thing, or also the alam of the arwah, the world of spirits. They can use different references to it, but it's not like we lived an entire life there or something. There was an event where Allah placed all the souls in one place, souls of the creation, and He made them testify that Allah is our Lord. And then after that, we came into this life, and we don't remember that. But that hadith still has that, tells us the effect that can happen in this life due to that.
Got you. I don't know. That's kind of a beautiful thing to think about. I've never heard anybody say that before, but that kind of does make sense. It's kind of interesting. I guess another question I'd have is like, what does the presence of God feel like? Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like lately I've been kind of far from God, but now that I'm on this stream, I just feel like a wave of peace just like went over me. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like emotional in a sense. I don't know why. I just feel like so peaceful talking to you. Like, what does the presence of God feel like?
Yeah, so we'll have to ask again. What does someone mean when they say presence of God, right? Because we don't believe that God is actually Him. God Himself is in the creation or anything. But God, the presence of God that we will believe in is the presence of care. God looks after you. He sees you. He hears you. He protects you. That type of presence of God comes to the from the word Rabb. Rabb, which means He raises you. He looks after you. He takes care of you. He guides you. He teaches you. Now, this is if you want to use that presence from that sense, then we wouldn't have an issue, of course, with that. That is the guidance that comes from Allah, and this sense of peace that you have, that Allah Azza wa Jal talks about in the Quran, comes through your connection with Allah. It comes in the remembrance of Allah. Allah says in the Quran, "Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innu al-qulub." Isn't it with the remembrance of Allah do hearts find ease? So hearts find ease and calmness and all of that through the remembrance of Allah. Remember the Creator, Allah Azza wa Jal, when you connect with Him, when you come closer to Him. And Allah says in many places in the Quran that those who believe in Allah and do righteous deeds, لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون, they will have no fear and they will not grieve. They will live, they will have this peace of serenity and peace which is within them. There is a protection from Allah Azza wa Jal in this life and in the afterlife. And that's something you get with connecting, because you're fulfilling your purpose. You are finally doing what you're here to do. You finally found that thing that everyone is seeking. This empty place that has been here, that has been empty all this time, has been now being fulfilled and being filled with the correct, right purpose, the right object to fill that gap and hole that is in every human being. That's why you feel that. You feel complete. You feel in the way that you are, of course, going to feel, because you are finally fulfilling the purpose of your existence as a human being.
Right. And I guess like another question, what are some ways that like Shaitan would come and like try to throw you off? Because I feel like he's so discreet with like the ways that he like comes and like appeals to like your desires and wants, where you feel like you're just following yourself or whatever, but really it's like maybe Shaitan. Like, what are some examples that could be like Shaitan trying to like take you off the path? Because I feel like as soon as I looked into Islam, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, as soon as I looked into Islam, like I felt this kind of sense of peace, right? I even went to the mosque with my Albanian friend.
Yes.
And then like recently, I don't know, I feel like recently I kind of lost that sense of peace and that connection. Like I feel like somewhere along the lines, Shaitan just like threw me off.
So there's two types of Shaitan. Shaitan can be a human Shaitan. For instance, like someone who will, you're a race traitor, you're betraying, you're these can be a human Shaitan from that sense, trying to push you off the truth. Or it can be someone who's a little bit overweight, tells you, religions are man-made, etc. Can be this type of human Shaitan as well. Or Shaitan can be whispering ideas to you. For instance, telling you, no, this is not actually, what about your family? What about your friends? What about, this is not actually the truth. Maybe you need to look into this more. Or you need to study this more. But what about this question? But what about listening to that person as well? Because that person, you've not heard him. You've not listened to him. What about finishing this first? He will give you all of these things I'm telling you. That always happens to people who are closer to accept Islam. Shaitan comes to them in that way. So that Shaitan can sometimes, as I said, you can be a human Shaitan, even can be sometimes your own family trying to push you away from religion. People are being kicked out of their homes after they accept Islam. So the tests and trials can be different. Can be a Shaitan who is a human, or Shaitan who gives you ideas, doubts, questions to keep you in a circle, a never-ending questioning cycle, and never taking that step.
For sure. Like even Sunny's gone through this a
give you some
lot.
pretty good insight on that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, we're thinking about the same thing, you know.
Yeah, like Sunny, like the entire internet
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like, oh, you're a race traitor. Like his own mom apparently is like not a fan of it and everything. I feel, yeah, I don't like that. Even when I made the one video saying I'm considering Islam, like why do you think people say that you're a race traitor if you're a white guy thinking about Islam? Like I have people in my DM saying, bro, you're white, don't consider Islam. Like somebody is like, yo, you're gonna ruin your future. You have a big future ahead of you. Don't think about Islam. Why do you think like people say you're a race traitor? That doesn't make sense.
Well, anyways, like you say, you white, you can. Anyways, like Albania is a country you mentioned, which is a Muslim country, which is a white country. You want to look at Turkey, which is a European country. It's still in Europe. A European country is a Muslim country. You want to look at Bosnia. You look at many different places. You have white. What's white got to do with you being a Muslim, not being a Muslim? That just reflects the ignorance of these people. They don't understand that whether you're Asian, Indian, Muslim, Arab, whatever you are, you can be a Muslim, and your race has nothing to do with it. And the most basic thing, was Jesus white? Since when I don't know. These people are okay. You're Christian now, so how are you not betraying your race by following the religion of a Middle Eastern man, essentially, who was Jesus? The only reason you accepted it is because the Roman Empire and Constantine adopted Christianity. If you want to not betray your race, why don't you go back to the Greek mythology and polytheism of worshiping Zeus and Thor and whatever it is, which was the Roman Empire was already following before. That is not betraying your race. Now, if you want to talk about accepting a religion means betraying your race. But in reality, it's just coming from the fact that many of these people are conservatives, and you were in that circle, and Sunny was also in that circle. And because you're in that circle, they are conservative, and conservatism today means that, many of them think Muslims are trying to take over whatever it is, or the great replacement theory, right? Whatever they refer to it as. So they think, oh, you know what? You gotta be our own race, and you gotta have this white supremacy that you gotta believe in right now, and you gotta be in our group. And if you're not in our group, then we don't like you. So it's just a cult, essentially, a cult of conservatism, which is extreme conservatism, because not most of them are like this. And that's what, because you were in that circle, you got that feedback from them.
Yeah, for sure. And I even see how like Christians, because like Andrew Tate, of course, became a Muslim. Andrew Tate's somebody that kind of really woke me up, as I'm sure you did, like a lot of kids. But even now, I see Christians like hate Andrew Tate simply because he's a Muslim. They're like, yeah, they used to like Andrew Tate. Now Andrew Tate reverted to Islam, and now everybody's like, yeah, oh yeah, you know what? He probably is a human trafficker. Send him to jail. It's so crazy how people just switch up. It's insane. Shaitan's everywhere.
Yeah. Cult. He left the cult. That's what cult is. Once you leave the cult, it doesn't matter what you say. Even if you say everything beautiful and everything good and everything righteous, you're not in my cult anymore. So I don't like you. You gotta be in my cult for me to accept. And if you're in my cult, I will justify anything you do and say.
True.
But the minute you're out of it, anything you do and say, I will reject.
I mean, contrary to that, though, like there's some people that also say like Islam could be a cult. Like I've seen people in my comments, some Christians have been like, did you know if you live in like an Islamic country and you leave Islam, they kill you? Like, is that true at all? So you could get like stoned or like an honor killing.
I already made, and he's a Christian telling you that.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I've got many comments like that, probably from Christians.
So what I usually tell to these Christians, go open the Bible before we speak about Islam now. This is true, right? Open the Bible, open Deuteronomy, which explicitly tells you that if your brother, the son of your mother, or any of your friend, anyone entices you to worship, saying, come, let's worship other gods, your hand should be the first on him. You and all the people in your town should essentially all of you should kill him, or everyone. Literally, word for word, that's what it says in Deuteronomy. So whether he's a Jew or Christian, whatever it is, why doesn't he start with reading what his book says before he comes to us and says Islam says that? That's the first thing I'm going to say. Second thing I'm going to say, in Islam, I have a video on that, but I'll talk about it as well briefly now. In Islam, nobody applies the punishments wherever we have something called hudud. And hudud is the punishments that the Sharia or Islamic law has. Punishments, laws of punishment, we call it hudud. Now, these laws of punishment are only applied by the state. Cannot be applied by individuals. There is no vigilantism. It's the judge, which is a representative of the state. After due process takes place, and the government is the one that applies the law. So unlike what the Bible says, which is telling you to do it yourself, that doesn't exist in Islam. All of these punitive punishments can only be done by the government and the state. So that's number one. Number two, these punishments are only applied in a state that rules with Islamic law, which you don't find anyways today. Anyways. Okay, now once you live, let's say you now live in an Islamic state. You want to leave Islam, okay? Or you left Islam. Now, for any punishment to be applied to you, we said it has to be in an Islamic state and has to be done by the government. Now, first thing is, how can the government know you left Islam?
That's true. I guess maybe if you're open about it, like if you go around saying like, yeah, I'm done with Islam.
Okay. So now you have two types of apostates now. You have a sincere apostate who is come across doubts or come across things and thought that there is a problem, so the issue, so he left. So he's sincere that if someone were to talk to him and give him advice, he would take it. And then you have the prophet apostates. You know, P-O-R, we're talking about prophet, F-I-T, yeah? Mm-hmm. The prophet apostates, the ones that are looking for career apostating, yeah? You got these people. So you got two types. You got these career apostating that try to make money and just trying to make a whole identity of a religion that they supposedly have left. Imagine I left my girlfriend and I make a whole channel about call myself ex-girlfriend, ex-person, and then just talk about my girlfriend 24/7. Yeah. I didn't leave my girlfriend, did I? Because it's supposed to be an ex. It's already out of the picture. So you got two types of apostates. Now, so the only way we can know is that you have to be public about it. Mm-hmm. You have to be public about it. And even if someone knows and he says that you did, he goes and reports you or something, you need to bring proof. Mm-hmm. So if he reports you and you say, no, I'm a Muslim, then the other person will be punished for making false testimony. You cannot falsely testify. So the only way someone can, we can know that, or the state, the government can know that someone left Islam, someone has to say they left Islam. Now, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were people who were hypocrites in Medina, and they were not true believers, but they were outwardly showing their believers. In their heart, they were not believers. Allah told the Prophet the names of these people. And his companion, Hudayfa, had a list of the hypocrites with their names. But the Prophet did not punish them. Why? Because they did not commit apostasy. And you're only punished for what you do outwardly, what we see you doing. We cannot punish you for what you have in your heart. So even though there were disbelievers hiding it in their heart, Prophet did not punish them. So if someone leaves Islam and he keeps it to himself and he never says it, that person will never be punished in an Islamic state. We already have an example, as I said to you. Not only that they were disbelievers, but even the Prophet knew and he didn't punish them because they didn't outwardly, publicly say that they were. And they did not create division. Because the first thing someone who leaves Islam will do, he will have an issue with the laws. Because if you're living in a Sharia state now, which is the only state that the punishment would be applied in, you're not going to be happy with the laws there about not drinking, not gambling publicly, not fornicating. You're not going to be happy with these laws. You will say, I'm an apostate, I don't believe in them, I want to do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. So you will try to cause corruption in the land, and you'll try to make a group of people that cause corruption. That's naturally what will happen. You'll try to entice other people to also do the same. So the only way we can know is that you left Islam. Now, let's say you left Islam and you say that you left Islam and you're public about it or whatever. Now, does the government just brings you and, chops something off or something? No, that's not what happens, yeah? Even if you do that, the government will bring you and there is something called the period of repentance. Period of repentance. So what they will do, they'll say, okay, you left Islam. They'll say yes. They'll ask him, okay, what is the reasons and the evidences you left Islam? Then the person is going to say this and this and this and that. They'll say, okay. They will go and they'll bring scholars to them, people of knowledge. And they'll say, okay, answer the doubts that this person has. And these scholars will come. They will talk to the person. They will answer his doubts. They will answer his everything. So that person now, when his doubts are answered, if he's a sincere person, his doubts are answered, responses are given. And that can be a very, very long period. Minimum 3 days. Maximum, many scholars like Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah and others mention that it doesn't even, if he's sincere and we can see that his intentions are there, that period can take a very, very long time for them to try to talk to him and clear up his doubts until he comes back to the truth. And I know someone who's in Libya, for example, which someone who left Islam and the government arrested him for that because he publicly said that and all of that. And then now it's been like 6 or 7 years and they're still bringing him people till this day, answering his doubt. And most of his doubts are answered, not everything, but they're still bringing him people until this day. And we're talking about today. Yeah. So that's what will happen. But now if the person rejects, because these scholars will 100% answer the doubts, because there isn't anything that you can bring. And we've already demonstrated this. Not only me, all of the brothers that are doing this, what I'm doing. We've already demonstrated that there's nothing you can bring that there is no natural responses for. So the only person then that would be punished is after giving him a period of repentance, bringing him scholars, telling him everything. They will say to him, it's either you repent, come back to Islam, or you're punished. Now, he can be a person who's arrogant, who doesn't want Islam, and even though the evidences are short, then he has a way out. He say, okay, I come back to Islam. And then he go live his life as a disbeliever, but not publicly declaring that he's a disbeliever. And he will not be punished. Of course, he will be punished in hellfire for eternity, right when he dies. But in this life, that law is not going to be applied to him.
Right.
So these people are trying to make it seem as if it's something different, but it is not. Yes, right.
What if he doesn't like say that he accepts Islam? What if the whole time he's like, yeah, no, even after the scholars talk to him, what if he's still like, yeah, I reject it? Then would there be like, what would the punishment be?
If he still says, I want to die, yes, he will die. Like, what can we do for you? You want to die, bro. Like, we're telling you the way not to die. There are many paths for you not to die. And they don't require the fact that you will be a Muslim in reality. You can even just be outwardly a Muslim. But you're still choosing, no, I'm in this country, I know the law, and I'm still going to say that I'm not going to be a Muslim. Of course, the law of the country will be applied to you. But isn't he now the person choosing to die in reality?
True, but they do kill him then if he like has different beliefs. Like if he personally doesn't want to be a Muslim, the punishment would be death. Okay.
No, yes. If he's still public about his disbelief and he's a disbeliever and he'll continue like this in his life, because now he's causing a danger to now he's causing a danger. Yes, he will be punished because now he's causing a danger not only to himself, he's causing a danger to his family that he would live with, that he will talk to them about him leaving his religion. He's also causing a danger to society in which he will be placing doubts in their heart, being a career apostate, as we talked about many of them, talking about how bad Islam is in this, and talking to people who are ignorant, many of them, in which will cause harm in society, to the family and to the people. So yes, since he has that kind of harm on the society, there is a punishment that is there, that is set in place for that reason, to protect the most important thing, which is the afterlife of those people that are more important than this subject and individual. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you could probably see
how that's... thing, which is also just to add, is that in Islam, for instance, the Prophet ﷺ, he made one treaty. It's called the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, in which one of the conditions was, if one of the people who accepted Islam with the Prophet apostated, that he sends them back to the disbeliever, the polytheist. So some scholars would use that to say that if someone wants to leave the Islamic country, of course he can leave before he says that he left Islam. He can leave the country, go to a non-Muslim country. Why are you staying in a country which is its law is telling you will be punished if you break the law? Why don't you go to a different country then? Why are you staying in a Muslim country? Because you are trying to cause corruption in the Muslim country. That's the truth. That is the reason you're staying. That's why you reject the honesty, the sincere responses, the time of repentance and all of that, and you're outspoken about it. You are trying to cause corruption in a Muslim land. You can just go travel, go somewhere else. Go to a country of disbelievers like you and live with them. Nobody will tell you anything. Because disbelievers will exist until the day of judgment. We have things about where the Prophet told us about the signs of the day of judgment. And one of them will be fighting a disbeliever. So they will remain until the day of judgment. So you will always have the option to leave if you wanted to leave.
That kind of makes sense, because then that one person would just spread like wildfire. Like it's almost like a disease in a sense. He'd just spread disbelief amongst like his entire community. I mean, I guess you could probably see how that seems a bit extreme though, to like somebody who's still on the fence, how they'd like kill somebody if they like leave Islam. I don't know. It still seems kind of like...
I wouldn't really say it's extreme for a few reasons. First is there is no measurement of right or wrong if you're not someone who's following a religion. You don't have a criteria to even determine what is right or wrong and what is extreme, what is not extreme. If you're following a religion, we already talked about the other options you will choose from, Christianity or Judaism or whatever. They have already worse laws than this. They're just not applying them. Now, also why it's not extreme is because this law is mostly not applied today. This law is not mostly not applied today in Muslim countries. We have ex-Muslims everywhere talking on social media in Muslim countries. They have channels and they're talking 24/7. Nobody's doing anything to them. Yeah. Because that law is not being applied by these governments. So there isn't really anything there that is worrisome. Like even for me, why would I be worried if I have options to leave the country or do other things if I want? Why would I be? What are you worried about?
Yeah, that's fair.
If you're someone who left Islam, why would you want to live in a Muslim state anyways? Well, of course you should leave. Why would you want to live in a Muslim state unless you're trying to spread a disease in the society?
Mm-hmm.
So your goal is the people, to target the people that are in the Muslim community. If it's not, then why do you want to live in a Muslim state anyways? Just leave.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I have a couple questions wrote down. This one's kind of like a funny one because this is one of the things that like I feel like is kind of based about Christianity. I'm kind of like wondering if Islam kind of seems the same. Do Muslims believe that the Earth is flat?
Okay, sure. So I'll say this in the nicest way possible, right? Because I don't want to trigger some flat earthers or round earthers or whatever it is. I don't want to trigger them. In Islam, it's very clear. In Islam, you can hold the position the earth is flat or the earth is round, and that does not affect you being a Muslim. It's not a sin, and it does not influence your afterlife. Right. So what I recommend for people not to be children and fighting with each other, whether the earth is round or flat, which will have zero influence in their life. Whether it's round, flat, potato, banana, it's not going to change your life, brother. Just live your life, do that which is beneficial for yourself. So I'll say for anyone, from an Islam point of view, it's not an important issue. Right? It's not an important issue. Now, there are scholars who held the position that it was flat before. The overwhelming majority are of the position that it's not. But it's an issue of valid disagreement. Meaning, if someone holds this position or that position, he's not committing a sin because it's not an issue to do with God or religion. It's an issue to do with a celestial body in space. What is the shape of it? Who really cares? Right. And in reality, roundness and flatness are not necessarily that contradictory. So it can be round and flat in a way. Meaning, if you walk on Earth, it's flat. You will continue walking and it will continue to be flat. But it will only continue to be flat because it's round. If it wasn't round, then you will reach the end of it. So in reality, you have it flat and you're walking on it and it's continuously flat because it is round. So in reality, I don't really see even a contradiction between the flatness and the roundness anyways. But I don't see a real contradiction in it. And the only people who make a whole like cult of it, this is the problem now. When you have people make it a cult, science, this is and that, science. Or people, these people are trying to brainwash us. Those two people who are making two cultish camps, I'll say, look, don't waste your time on that at all, in any way, shape, or form. And the Quran can be read and understood either way. So it's a position of valid disagreement that anyone who wants to accept Islam, it doesn't deter them because they can believe either or, and there's no issues with them from a theological, religious perspective.
Right. I guess the thing is, like, if the earth was flat, it would kind of prove God in a way because, like, they've been lying so much about it. And do you believe that, like, earth is, like, the center of the universe? Like, I don't know about in Islam, but do Muslims believe in space? Because I think Christians believe that, like, the earth is the center of the universe. God created this. It says in the Bible multiple times that there's, like, a firmament of the earth. So I feel like it is, like, kind of a little bit more important in that sense, where it's, like, if it were to be proven that the earth is flat, I feel like that would 100% prove that God exists.
Okay, so I'll ask you a very simple question. If it is true that they lied about the shape of the earth, which I don't see the reason anyways, but let's say hypothetically they did. Let's say it's true they lied about the reason of the shape of the earth, okay? How did you make that connection that therefore now God is true?
I guess because like that would mean that we really are the center of the universe, and because in the Bible there's like multiple verses where it says that the earth is flat.
No. Again, you're jumping through loops now. So one issue, which is them lying about the shape, and the issue of it being the center are two separate things.
Yeah. True, but it's like they lied about.
If they lied about the shape of the earth. Okay, let's say they lied about the shape of the earth and they lied about it being the center. Still, how is that positive evidence for the existence of God?
I guess it would be because it says in the Bible like multiple times, like the four corners of the earth, the firmament. I guess it would be going like biblically, which I don't know if I would do because I'm not like necessarily a Christian. But it's like they lied about the shape of the earth to disprove the Bible, because the two don't go hand in hand.
Now, so let me answer that very. So now it is not that it proves that God exists, because there is no correlation. And it's not that it proves the Christian God, because also there's no correlation. But it proves that there is a verse or 2 verses or 3 verses that are accurate in the Christian Bible. That's all that it really proves. But I don't know how you cannot make this jump into proves God or that Christianity. You cannot make that. But I'll tell you something interesting now. The reason those Christians are flat earthers is because they believe in the Bible. Not because it is really flat. It's because they believe in the Bible and they want to view things from that perspective. Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. They don't need to lie to you from that perspective, because already tons of verses in the Bible are scientifically inaccurate. Why do they need to go into specifically the earth and the shape of the earth? They've already proved the Bible is inaccurate through the tons, innumerable mistakes that it has that contradict science. Why do they need to go into that? If you go to Job chapter 10, verse 10, for example, it talks about human being cradled like cheese and milk and whatever it is. They can just use these verses. Why do they need to disprove the Bible, which is already disproved from that factual perspective? If you want to compare it with science, they don't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that the cultish people that are Christians want to prove that verse in the Bible. While overwhelming majority of Christians anyways will say, oh, these are metaphorical, you're not understanding them the right way. But either way, it does not prove God or the Christian God, whether it was the case that they lied, as you said, or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's been a couple times where you said like Christianity's a cult. What would you say about people that say like Islam's a cult, or people that say like religion as a whole is a cult?
I'm not talking about. No, I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm talking about the group of conservatives, extreme conservatives, to be clear.
Right.
So I didn't use the term about Christianity being a cult. I'm referring to the conservative, the ones that are in your circles. Overwhelming majority of Christians don't believe the earth is flat, actually.
Seriously?
So what I'm saying is not applicable to them. Yeah. Who said the overwhelming majority? They all believe this is metaphorical. Just like they say everything else is metaphorical. Adam and Eve and evolutionists. They just accept what science says.
So that would
they're
mean
not
that
really religious in that point.
That would mean that the whole religion is metaphorical then. If you're gonna just discard things in the holy book, like I don't know if you know who Hockley is. I did a podcast with him. He always says if you're not a flat earther, you're not a real Christian. He always says that. So I thought that was like kind of what most people believe.
Yeah. So I had a discussion with him before. I don't want to talk about him too much. But yeah, it's yes.
I think I kind of remember that
channel. But
yeah,
the
with
thing is,
yeah, I kind of remember that.
So the reason he says that is because he's claiming the text says that. So because he's claiming the text says that, he's saying they're not true Christians, and it's a valid point he's making. But the reason that most Christians are rejecting it is because most people in general accept the pictures of planet Earth and what they're taught in school and whatever it is. Overwhelming majority of people accept what they've been taught.
Right.
So that's why overwhelming majority of Christians would believe it is round.
I have the chat pulled up. People are like laughing. People are like, "Who is this kiddo?" Everybody's like, "Guys, I'm just saying, like, it does kind of make sense. Like the fact that they had like
don't worry about the chat. Don't worry about it.
They barely even had the technology for like good computers back then, yet they could send like an entire spaceship to Mars, or not to Mars, to the moon. Just like that. Just
again, that's a different issue. Like a different issue. Like I'm very skeptical. Sure. Just because you prove one thing is a lie doesn't mean everything is a lie. I'll tell you why. For instance, I'm very skeptical about this going to the moon, for example. Very, very skeptical. And I don't accept it. I don't see evidences for it. So the reason I'll say I'm very skeptical about that, I can see the reasoning behind it. The reasoning behind it, there's a competition between different countries, and one country wants to show the other world that is superior, which has a big psychological effect. We are superior in technology, we are the new superpower, etc. So I can see reasons behind doing it. Now, telling the people it's round or flat, in reality, has zero actual effect on the lives of people. And it doesn't have any reasoning of control that I can see. I don't see any benefit behind that lie, because it doesn't change anything. But okay, so you said you had maybe other questions, right? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Or did you still have something on this one?
No. I think it's good to move on. You've established that like it doesn't really matter either way, like the shape of the Earth, which I feel like that's a fair opinion. Maybe I do have some disagreements, but at the end of the day, like I understand where you're coming from. Okay, do you believe that like Christianity is like from Shaitan just to like try to get souls to like not have the truth?
Christianity originally, which Christianity, the word itself means to follow Christ. Following Christ means being a Muslim. Now, what is from Satan is the changes that were introduced into Christianity by the Roman Empire in the councils of Nicaea 325 and Constantinople 381, like the Trinity or the divinity of Jesus, which is not in the teachings of Jesus himself, nor the Bible actually doesn't exist there. So these changes that were added by people who are following Greek mythology, like Constantine and Athanasius, etc., these are the changes that came from Satan. But if someone were to follow Jesus in the true following of Jesus, he would have been a Muslim. His mother would be covered like Mary was. He will have a beard. He will fall on his face when he prays. He's not going to eat pork. He's not going to. He's going to fast 40 days. He's going to be circumcised. He's going to be a Muslim in reality, and he's going to believe in one God only and say to worship that one God alone, and believe in Moses and David and Solomon and and Abraham and the previous prophets, which is what a Muslim is.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
the only thing that is from Satan is these changes that came.
Even like the first page of the Quran says that like a Muslim is just somebody who follows God's will and kind of like does follow Jesus in a sense. That's kind of like the meaning of a Muslim. But brother, I have to go eat my breakfast. I really genuinely appreciate you taking the time to do this. I'm going to continue reading my Quran, continue doing my thing.
No problem.
I've reacted to like so many of your videos, so the fact that like I'm actually talking to you now is pretty cool. So I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you very much for taking the time.
No worries.
Yeah. God bless you, man. Have a great day.
No worries. I want to give you one advice before you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you one quick advice before you go. Because I have a problem. I don't see it in you, but I see it happening a lot. There's a lot of people who get stuck on using Islam for their own channels, for their own views, for stuff like that. They've been making content, etc. Their goal is not sincere truth seeking and coming to what the truth is or investigating Islam. And I've seen many of them, and I don't talk to them because of that. I see sincerity in you. That's why I accepted to talk to you. You know, I said, no problem. But others, for example, if they were to come, I wouldn't talk to them because I know what they're doing and I can see it. I can see it in the actions that they do. So I hope you don't let Satan get you stuck on that, on being in a circle of asking questions and repeated research and reaction videos, but actual genuine research of seeking what is the truth that will guide you eventually to accepting that which is true, right? And we'll all, of course, ask God to guide you and me. And I can see like that. I can see that you're not doing that from what I can see, but only God knows the heart. You know, nobody can know for sure. That's why I put that as advice, anyways. It's important advice because I've seen it in others, and many people are doing it. So I hope don't be one of those people, and don't let Satan trick you into being one of these people. But do genuine research into finding what is the truth and what will guide you to God. And don't worry about the chat. Because like, I know you're looking at them a lot. Like, I'm barely looking at them, you know. I like they're there. It's about you. It's about me talking to you, right? All right, Tyson. It was nice talking to you, and I hope I answered the questions that you had. And inshallah, you know, when we hear the news of you accepting Islam, we'll all be happy, inshallah. All right, Tyson.
Okay, God bless you, man. Have a great day.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye.